she said, you, and I said, Whoopi, did you just say you? I mean, she was right here, and then she said, get the out of this building.
She did leave here cursing at the people who booked the show. She cursed at the guys who do the security for the show.
For years, Whoopi Goldberg maintained a measured stance on politics. While her colleagues in the entertainment industry often voiced their views loudly and without hesitation, she opted for patience, choosing to observe rather than instantly react. Her approach was deliberate, watchful, analytical, and cautious. But the buildup of political chaos, policy shifts, and growing polarization was becoming harder to ignore. Things changed as frustrations across the country escalated. Decisions on immigration, civil rights, and health care stirred public outrage. Goldberg, like many, found herself questioning the direction the country was heading. The burden of staying neutral started to weigh on her. The breaking point came during what was meant to be a routine segment on her daytime talk show. The discussion, originally focused on legislative gridlock, took an unexpected turn. Rather than simply contributing to the conversation, Goldberg took control of it. Her demeanor shifted. This wasn't just another roundtable chat, it was a moment of reckoning. She began addressing not just the political elite, but also the broader dysfunction she believed was infecting the country. Her delivery was firm, urgent, and emotional.
One of the biggest issues of the last presidential campaign was reforming our immigration system. And yesterday, the White House announced a brand new path to U.S. residency with an expensive toll.
The tone in the studio changed immediately. Viewers at home and in the audience could sense it. This was no longer a discussion, it was a call to awareness. As expected, reactions were instant and intense. News platforms picked up the moment, dissecting her comments from every angle. Some praised her for courageously voicing what many were feeling but too afraid to say. Others criticized her, arguing that celebrities should stay in their lane. The division in media coverage was striking, each outlet crafting the story to fit their narrative.
Take a look.
We're going to be selling a gold card. You have a green card, this is a gold card. We're going to be putting a price on that card of about $5 million, and that's going to give you green card privileges plus. It's going to be a route to citizenship, and wealthy people will be coming into our country by buying this card. They'll be wealthy, and they'll be successful, and they'll be spending a lot of money and paying a lot of taxes and employing a lot of people. And we think it's going to be extremely successful.
Would a Russian oligarch be eligible for a gold card?
Yeah, possibly. Hey, I know some Russian oligarchs that are very nice people.
It didn't take long for the former president to weigh in through social media. His comments were brief but inflammatory, sparking another round of heated exchanges online. Supporters rallied behind him, echoing his sentiment. Opponents pushed back just as forcefully, defending Goldberg and amplifying her message.
Her mouth was so foul, she was so filthy dirty, disgusting, half the place left. I said I'd never hire her again.
And you knew that when you hired me. A headline, babe. How dumb are you? You hired me 4 times. So talk to William March. You hired me 4 times, and you didn't know what you were getting? How dumb are you?
Television anchors, commentators, and influencers quickly latched on to the incident. What began as a single moment on a talk show had spiraled into a cultural flashpoint. The conversation expanded beyond Goldberg or Trump. It became a reflection of America's deepening ideological divide. As social media became flooded with hashtags and opinion threads, the event was no longer confined to television. Activists, former policymakers, and even educators began discussing the significance of the confrontation. The country wasn't just watching, it was engaging, reacting, and taking sides. Behind the scenes, TV executives began quietly reviewing the potential fallout. While the controversy boosted viewership and visibility, it also raised concerns about backlash. There were whispers that Goldberg may be asked to take a step back, but no action was taken immediately. All eyes were on the next move.
Oh, sorry, you can't do the job. The lie was that we're going to get rid of the immigrants so that you will have more jobs. And now they're saying you can't.
Jordan, We've been through this before. He wants to get rid of the illegal immigrants who are taking people's jobs. I'm gonna have to ask you, can you tell me the difference between legal and illegal immigrants? Let's go. Whoopi?
I'm not sure. Say what?
Let's just finish this.
The former president, never one to let a media moment go to waste, quickly incorporated the incident into his campaign messaging. At rallies and in interviews, he leaned into the narrative of being targeted by elites and misrepresented by media personalities. His followers responded with enthusiasm, cheering his defiance and amplifying his message. Goldberg, meanwhile, remained steadfast. Despite pressure and criticism, she continued to speak publicly and held her ground in follow-up appearances. While her stance earned admiration for many, it also intensified the pushback from critics who saw her actions as out of touch with everyday Americans. As the dust settled, the lasting impact of the confrontation became clear.
He brought up America being a garbage can.
Right. Yeah.
We're garbage.
Yeah.
And I guess everybody's freaked out now because we're all in the can together. He dressed up as a garbage man. He could not get into the can.
It had transcended entertainment and crossed into the national conversation about identity, voice, and representation. For some, Goldberg symbolized a willingness to speak truth during uncertain times. For others, she became a target, representing everything they distrusted about celebrity involvement in politics. The ripple effect reached further than anyone had anticipated. Conversations around dinner tables, community centers, and college campuses began to mirror the national debate. This wasn't just a viral moment, it had become a cultural benchmark. Whether intentional or not, Goldberg had sparked something bigger than herself.
When I say him, I mean
He rambles.
Trump.
Yeah.
He tends to just...
But can I mention one thing? Because Trump is out there.
The clash between her and the former president was no longer about two individuals. It had become a window into the soul of a divided country. And even as the headlines began to fade, the questions remained. Would others follow her lead? Would public figures become more vocal, or would the fear of backlash force silence? Only time would tell. But one thing was undeniable. The conversation had changed, and there was no going back. Public attention hadn't waned, it had simply shifted into a new phase. After the initial shockwave of Whoopi Goldberg's public confrontation with political power, a quieter, more calculated storm was brewing beneath the surface. News cycles that once lived on the moment now began analyzing the long-term effects. Political analysts debated whether Goldberg's comments had lasting influence or were just another flash in the media pan. Social commentators pointed out that the real story wasn't just about a celebrity speaking out, it was about how the country reacted to someone refusing to conform to silence. As the noise settled, two competing forces emerged, a push for more public figures to step into the political conversation, and a counterpressure to silence them through backlash, ridicule, or career threats. In the weeks that followed, talk shows, opinion panels, and online platforms continued to revisit the clash. The media had found a new narrative to latch onto, the role of celebrities in shaping public opinion. Some praised Goldberg for using her platform to engage with real issues. Others accused her of overstepping, arguing that the entertainment world had no place in the political arena.
So from time to time, you'll see us going... like just now. And it's because people are feeling passionate and want to talk. And because we are not just a political show, we talk about lots of different stuff. We're always trying to jockey about what we're talking about. So we're going to finish up what we were doing before we left, if folks have more to say.
So from time to time, you'll see us going, like just now. And it's because people are feeling passionate and want to talk. And because we are not just a political show, we talk about lots of different stuff. We are always trying to jockey about what we're talking about. So we're going to finish up what we were doing before we left, if folks have more to say. 9. Meanwhile, Goldberg's own career entered a complicated chapter. Behind the scenes, she faced mounting pressure from producers, concerned about advertiser reactions, to internal politics within her network. Some insiders reportedly encouraged her to take a step back and let the moment pass. Others warned that the spotlight she'd drawn might turn into heat she couldn't control. But Goldberg, used to controversy and no stranger to navigating turbulent waters, didn't show signs of retreating. She continued appearing on air with the same presence, measured, calm, but clearly unbothered by the whirlwind outside the studio. The former president, not missing a beat, used the opportunity to further build his public narrative. He continued to portray himself as the outsider, the one targeted by media elites and cultural influencers. He referenced the incident in speeches, weaving it into broader themes about media bias and the battle for the soul of the nation. His supporters took this message and ran with it, embedding Goldberg into a symbolic role she never asked for. But something unexpected began happening as well. People who had never watched The View, who rarely engaged with celebrity voices, started tuning in, not necessarily to agree or disagree, but out of curiosity. They wanted to see how someone could speak so freely and still show up the next day. Some came for the controversy. Others stayed for the conversation. Elsewhere in Hollywood, conversations began to shift. Actors, musicians, and filmmakers, many of whom had remained silent to protect their careers, started speaking a little more boldly. Quiet support turned into social media posts, subtle comments in interviews, or even open letters published in magazines. The culture of silence was cracking. At the same time, conservative media doubled down, using Goldberg's moment to build a broader case against what they called celebrity overreach.